Doors are opening, watch your step. Slide all the way over. I need you to seat the infants and the smallest children to the inside center of the row for their safety. Stow your carry-on bags by your feet. Watch your fingers and toes on the right because the doors are about to slide shut. It is important that both you and your children are seated throughout the entire journey. Please do not stand up in the vehicle. Jambo, folks, Jambo means hello here in Harambe. Jambo, thank you, good afternoon, welcome aboard. This is Kilimanjaro Safaris. My name is Clay, I'm your game driver for your photo safari through the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Name spotting guides overhead to help you identify any animals you see. But don't worry, I'll help you spot the animals. Take all the photos you like, but I do need you to stay seated so nobody gets hurt. Everybody around you can see. Use the wrist strap or neck strap that came with your camera. Please keep your hands and arms inside the truck. Just remember, I can't get out of the cab. We won't be stopping to retrieve anything that falls overboard. Those are Okapi in the woods to your right. The Okapi, reclusive and shy, wasn't even identified in the wild by Western man until 1901. The stripes on the legs help them to blend into their surroundings and allow other Okapi to see them when they're running through the forest. They are not related to the zebra. They are the only relative of the giraffe. The greater kudu, a couple of young females under the trees to the right, tan with white. The greater kudu is a fringe antelope. They live on the edge of the forest. They're most active at sunrise and sunset. The females do not grow horns. Only the male has the horns that you see on the game guide. They're very young. When they grow up, they will be the second tallest antelope in the reserve, and they could weigh more than 700 pounds each. The waterhole is pretty quiet. If you look way up on the top of the hill, there's a big pile of white sand up there. Look behind him. There's a black rhino sitting up there. He's really, really hard to see. Very, very difficult to see. That's a black rhino sitting up against the cliffs. They're extremely rare. There are fewer than 5,000 of them left on the entire planet. Oh, here's another one. Here we go. This guy weighs about 2,800 pounds. He has a narrow jaw and a pointed hook-like upper lip. The black rhinoceros lives in the woodlands of Africa. They're known as browsers because of the way they eat the leaves off the bushes and trees. These are bongo on the ridge to your right. Rust-colored white stripes. The bongo are known as the ghost of the forest. When they run, they just tilt their head back and their horns don't become entangled in the bushes. You can kind of tell how old they are by looking at the length of the horns, because the adult horns are more than 30 inches long. There's lots of little guys in that herd right now. Right now we're headed for Safi River. We are looking for hippopotamus. Yeah, he's looking for you too, bud, don't worry. Safi River has been the home of a pretty good sized herd of Nile hippos for about 15 years now. And you will have two chances to look for hippopotamus. The first look on the right is going to be fairly quick. I don't need to listen to this anymore. There we go. Fairly quick, folks. This is a blind corner. The trucks behind us can't see us, and I don't really want to get run into, so we're not going to stop here. Look in the water. The name hippopotamus, there's two of them on the right. It means river horse in English, and they spend almost... Please sit down, ma'am. Please remain seated, thank you. You guys on the left, don't worry, you're going to have a chance to look once we get around the corner. The water helps to maintain a nice steady body temperature for the hippos, support their weight, and protect them from sunburn. They can hold their breath for about 8 minutes at a time, so there's no guarantee they come up as we go by. Look at them all. A group of hippos is referred to as a float or a herd. The ones that are stationary and completely submerged are probably asleep right now. They can hold their breath for 8 minutes. They're considered nocturnal. The researchers here believe they sleep while they're underwater. We haven't been able to prove it because the hippos have declined to participate in the survey. You're ready to look on the left because those are crocodiles down there. Nile crocodiles. Bigger than the American alligator, swimming in the water directly beneath the bridge. Yeah, I need you to sit down, pal. Yeah, we gotta stay seated here. Yeah, you gotta stay seated here, folks. I guarantee you, if anybody falls overboard, I'm not going down there. These crocodiles can reach 20 feet long and weigh 2,000 pounds. Most of the crocodiles down there today are between 12 and 13 feet in length, and they weigh anywhere from 600 to 900 pounds. They don't move around very much. They have a very slow metabolism, and they lie motionless most of the day. They allow their prey to walk right up to them. Their jaws can crush bone. The crocodile snaps his jaws shut, and it will generate more than 2,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. Don't get too close, because if they get a hold of you, they're not going to let go. Coming out of the forest, we're going to start to see some grassland on the left. There it is. These are the grasslands of Eastern Africa, extending north and south further than you and I can see, hundreds of miles. It's an entirely different ecosystem. There are all different animals living down there. Look at the view. Hard to see the animals from up here, so we'll go down to the floor of the savannah to look around before we head east, that way, toward elephant country. We see an Ankole cow. There's a giraffe under the tree. There are 9 subspecies of giraffe on the African continent. You are looking at one of the rarest of the subspecies to your right. These are Maasai giraffe. The Maasai giraffe have a very disorganized and irregular stripe pattern. The edges of the stripes are ragged. The colors are muted. These giraffe are teenagers. They're only about 5 years old. They have not reached physical maturity yet. They're a little skinny and a little short. When they're done growing, most giraffe are 14 or 15 feet tall. They will weigh anywhere from 1,200 to 1,700 pounds each. They do spend most of their day feeding, so they wander the grasslands looking for food. They find something they like, they will eat continuously. There she goes, trying to figure out what to do with her afternoon. The eland is the largest antelope on the savannah. There are 2 eland to your left. There's 1 eland on your right. These are females. This is Patterson's eland. If you were to stand next to them, they're almost 5 feet tall at the shoulder. They weigh about 900 pounds each. And yet, these eland, there you get the front and the back in the same picture over here. And yet, they can jump vertically 6 to 8 feet into the air. Believe it or not, those eland could jump into this truck pretty easily. Oh, don't worry, I've never seen it happen. There's no reason for them to try. There's nothing up here they want. Other than curiosity, they're herbivores, so they don't eat meat. They might lick you to death, but they're not going to eat you, don't worry. The large cone-shaped structures are subterranean termite mounds. Excavated earth from the colony below, brought to the surface, formed into these mounds baked by the African sun. They are hard as concrete. Here's another giraffe again out here to the right. This is a Maasai giraffe. And again, the stripe pattern, very irregular and disorganized. If she sticks her tongue out, the front half of her tongue is dark blue. It's about 18 inches long. It's perfect for stripping the leaves off the bushes and trees. We look out into the open grassland in front of us. The big horns belong to the Ankole cows. The Ankole cows are the only domesticated animal that you'll see on the trip today. They live side by side with the wild animals. They've been domesticated here for more than 2,000 years. They are bred by the Watusi tribe for the horns, which can reach 6 feet long. They symbolize affluence and wealth. If you're a tribal elder, the more cows you own, the higher up the social ladder you climb. There are wildebeest on both sides of the road, gray with a black nose. The wildebeest will migrate in the dry season, but not now. There's lots of grass and there's plenty of water. There's no need for migration. They have everything they need. Wildebeest have 2 names. It depends on where you are in Africa, what you call them. South Africa, that's the wildebeest. East Africa, they're known as the Gnu, and they get that name. because it mimics the noises they make when they migrate. There's another giraffe out there to the right. See her? See her under the palm trees? That's a reticulated giraffe. She is different from the Maasai that we saw earlier. There's an opening in the grass coming up here on the right. Keep your fingers crossed. There's a baby sable antelope here. Look at mama. Check the horns out. Two babies and a mama. The sable antelope is the animal used on the logo of the Harambe Reserve. It's a beautiful antelope species. Those horns can grow to be 50 to 60 inches long. There's the reticulated giraffe. Here's more mamas from the sable antelope herd with a calf. Here they come. These horns will get so long that the sables have to drop to their knees to use the tips of the horns in combat. Now she tends to be very aggressive and not particularly friendly, and we don't usually get this close to her. Get a pretty good look at her there. Once we get past the bushes, if you look back to the right, we should see that giraffe again. There she is. That's a reticulated giraffe. The stripe pattern is much better defined than on the Maasai. And she's a full-grown female. That's the most common of the giraffe subspecies. Monkey point on your left. The mandrill monkeys come here looking for food. Now there's one up on top. See her? Here's one in the trees. There's a couple of them in the trees. These are Rafiki's relatives. They are the largest monkey in Africa. The girls weigh 25 or 30 pounds. They have lots of little babies in this troop. And it looks like a lot of them are up in the tree right now. They come here to forage for food almost every single day. They are very, very intelligent. They learned a long time ago that sitting in the rain is no fun. And we are looking for elephants, folks. There's a bull elephant way off in the distance there. The bull elephant is a solitary creature. He's not part of the herd. So his mother kicked him out when he reached physical maturity, and he spends most of his life living alone. Now he's about 4,000 pounds bigger than a female, and he is a very powerful animal. He can't be trusted to play with the calves because he'll hurt them. So he lives alone. The herd is made up of females and their calves, and that's what we are looking for. We are looking for the herd. They've been over along the river. We're going to head that way. Keep your fingers crossed, because if we see them, the viewing should be pretty good. We're going to have to cross here to get to the river. As long as we take it slow, I think we'll be all right. There's a couple of loose boards out here. We'll go nice and slow and easy here. See the tire tracks? We're not the first ones here. No need to worry. Ooh, you can feel the loose boards when you hit them. They split a little bit more every single time. Front wheels are off. And we got the back wheels off. We're good to go. We're going to run through the red clay pit and see if we can figure out when the elephants were last here. The elephants eat red clay. It is a mineral supplement to their mostly vegetation diet. Look at the footprints. They lead right to the tusk marks. The red clay is soft. The elephants use their tusks. They break it loose in chunks. It's like eating a Flintstones vitamin. There's an elephant to your left, and there's a baby elephant to the left as well. Now they are going to look dirty, and that is perfectly normal. Elephant hide is pretty sensitive. They don't like to get sunburned, so they will spread dirt on their body, pick it up with their trunk and throw it up on their back. Oh, look at the baby. See the little baby butt sticking out of the rocks? There's a little one here. There have been 6 births in this herd in less than 10 years. And that might not sound like much, but remember folks, elephant gestation is 647 days. So it takes mama elephant almost 22 months to deliver one calf. When the babies are born, they weigh between 200 and 300 pounds. You look back to the left and see them again, I hope. So twins are absolutely out of the question. They stay with their mother until they reach physical maturity in their early teens, and they can live to be 60 years old. Here's one of the adults over here to the left. When the calves are not playing amongst themselves, they will follow mama around, and they will mimic her behavior, and that's how they learn to act like an elephant. I think we've got an elephant down here along the edge of the watering hole as well, so we'll head up and hopefully get another look. Yep, here's one right here at the watering hole. There she is. She will eat in the neighborhood of 300 pounds of vegetation every day. And She is a very sloppy eater. She will pick up more than she can possibly fit in her mouth, but instead of hanging on to it, she's going to throw it all over the place. This is the greater flamingo. It is the largest of the African flamingo species, and they have one of the palest pink coloring on the entire planet. They do have some pretty good pink coloring, but it's hidden underneath the top feathers, and unless they spread their wings out, we don't usually get to see it. They filter feed the water for algae, small crustaceans, and brine shrimp, but all are rich in beta-carotene that will help them maintain what little coloring they do have. Stopped. I'm not quite sure what's going on. We will keep a safe distance from that truck in front of us. If we do have animals in or near the road, I don't want them to feel like they're being squeezed because they might panic and then somebody will get hurt. It's not usually the animal. So we'll stay a couple of truck lengths back. The animals live here. We are the visitors, so they always get the right of way. Yeah, they're definitely stopped. So we're going to stop back here. I'm not quite sure what's going on. Once we see them start to move, then we'll start rolling up on them. But they're not going anywhere. No. So we'll stay back. I want you to stay alert. There's a couple of trails that come down off this hill in front of us. As we go by, look carefully in the bushes. It's not unusual to see rhinos sleeping in these bushes because they come down here and they roll around in the mud to cool off. Then they go back and hide in the bushes. So we'll start rolling up here. There's nobody in there today. Well, you can see it's all been flattened out. They do go in there all the time. If you're a really good game spotter, in the lower left-hand corner of this field, under the tree, all curled up, you see the golden brown. That's a cheetah sleeping under the tree. She is very difficult to see. She's in the lower left-hand corner of the field under the tree. You can see the golden brown, a little bit of the dark spot. She's curled up just like a little kitty. She is the fastest land animal on Earth, and she can sprint to about 60 miles an hour. I do need you to keep your hands and arms inside the truck, folks. The ostrich is not the sharpest knife in the drawer, and they will try anything once. They're about 7 feet tall. They can run at 40 miles an hour, but unfortunately their eyes are bigger than their brain, and they're very forgetful. This rock formation, oh, there's a lion up there, see him? There's a male lion stretched out on the rock, looks like he might be asleep. This is called a koppie, and it's a Dutch word from South Africa that refers to the way the granite has popped out of the grassland. Look at the size of his feet. The male lion, the king of the beasts, the supreme hunter of the African plain. He will rest most of the daylight hours. He is generally inactive during the day. He will become very active at night when his eyesight can be 6 times more acute than the human eye. This is the scimitar horned oryx. They come from the deserts of North Africa. They're named for their horn shaped like the blade of a civic sword. They were declared extinct in the wild in the 1980s. This is the Grant zebra. It is a very common plains zebra with wide stripes and short legs. It is one of the lion's favorite foods, but the lions have to be very careful because the zebra can break a lion's jaw with a single well-placed kick. When they get scared, they all bunch up together. Their stripes blend in. You can't tell one from the other, the head from the tail. And the predatory cats have got to be very, very careful if they choose to attack the zebras under those conditions. We're going to circle around, try to get another look at this lion for you. Since it doesn't look like he's moved at all. There he is. All the way up on top is one of the girls. The lioness is quite a bit smaller. She does not have a mane around her head and shoulders. And while he is the leader and the protector of the pride, It is the girls that do most of the hunting. They're known as cooperative hunters, and they're very good at it. He will hunt only when he has to. These are warthogs. The warthog is the largest burrowing mammal. They do not stray very far from the burrow. If they sense danger, they back into the burrow and they use their tusks as protection. They got the name Pumbaa from the Disney movie. In Swahili, that means silly or foolish, and they're neither. They're actually very intelligent. These are ostrich eggs, and here's Mama Ostrich tending to the nest. These eggs weigh 3 or 4 pounds each. Each one of those eggs is equivalent to about 2 dozen chicken eggs. The shell is designed to support Mama Ostrich's weight. Mama Ostrich weighs about 300 pounds. So you can stand on those eggs and probably not crack them. Heading into an area of the reserve that is named Magadi Glen. The animals you see on the ridge in front of us are named the Adaks. The Adaks are not on your game guide. They are refugees from the deserts of northern Africa. The light body coloring reflects sunlight so they can tolerate the intense heat of the desert. They're able to raise and lower their body temperature, which allows them to get through the heat of the day. And they can live for months at a time without drinking water. They can get all the fluid their body requires from the roots of the grasses they chew on. Their horns are very impressive. They're about 3 feet long, and their horns almost led to the demise of the species. Sport hunters almost wiped this animal out. There are fewer than 300 of them left in the wild, and there's only about 1,500 of them on the entire planet. Most of the animals that we have seen on our safari today do suffer from a fairly significant loss of habitat. They have lived here for tens of thousands of years. However, every year their range shrinks as the human population expands. We would like to do everything possible to prevent conflict between the animals and man. And if we are to be successful, we have to do a lot more research. The more we understand the habits and the needs of the animals, the better prepared we are to provide for them. Here in Harambe Wildlife Reserve, our researchers are studying elephant vocalization. The elephants talk to each other. It's called rumbling. We cannot hear it. It is subsonic.